letting go sometimes is hard. Change is sometimes hard. But you got to do what you got to do, especially when it's good for you. Anything you want to do in life, all you got to do is start. Press play. Hey y'all, hey, it's your homegirl Tiana's my realtor, and I am back with another episode of Every Play Possible. Listen, I'm in the mood because it's Friday night. Yeah, I didn't drop this episode at 12 today. It's about to be Friday night, and I'm in that mood. But look, it's your homegirl Tiana's my realtor, and you know I talk real estate, real talk, and real cute. So yeah, I had to get real cute for you. So I just wanted to come before you right quick just to drop a few nuggets in your soul. And this episode is inspired by life itself. Knowing when to let go. Knowing when to let go. How many of us struggle with knowing when to let go? So, you know me, I'm the great 48, about to be 49 in a little bit. And I have 3 beautiful daughters that's of age. And then I have a baby girl. And then I have several friends, several colleagues, family members, people that I talk to all the time. And strangers. And what I learned is people have a tendency of knowing when to let go. That probably will include some of everybody named that I just talked about. So this inspiration didn't come from no one person, but it came from several conversations. Knowing when to let go. Let me give you a transparent moment of myself. If you follow me on social media, you know that months ago when school started, last year, August, I went live about single parents and taking care of your kids on your own and just keep pushing. So I separated from my spouse December 30th. It's already been a year. So when the year mark was coming up, December 30th of 2022, I realized that my spouse had not given me a dime for child support yet. Not a dime. So I said, December 30th is going to make a year that we've been separated out our mouths and in our mind. So I'm not going to let this month leave without putting him on child support. So needless to say, I finally got that appointment on Thursday. And I'm not going to tell you how the appointment went. But what I will tell you is, I know that I did the right thing by letting go on that day, that Thursday. When we got up to the table, when we sat there, our seats were apart. He sat down, I sat down, I scooted my chair over a little bit just so we could be close in to talk to the lady, and he scooted his chair over to the left. I thought that thing was funny. When I tell you I laughed, I really laughed, because that let me know one thing. This man that I was married to, that I was madly in love with, that I supported in everything he did, this man don't give 2 shits about me. This man is bitter. This man is broke and broken. This podcast isn't about him. It's about me, how revealing things can be in days to come. And one thing I learned is I made the right decision by letting go. Because at the end of the day, how could you be so angry, so bitter with someone you so was in love with? Ask yourself that. How could you sit there and allow somebody to be bad to you, to treat you away, to show you the same patterns, to be so consistent with not being consistent? How could you do that? I have conversations with my daughters all the time, and I often tell them, choose you. But when we talk about the situation, I talk about how it's not the other person's fault that's doing you wrong. It's your fault because you are sitting here talking about what they did and how you told them that made you feel and how you don't like it and how it makes you so sad, but you still want another conversation about either what has happened or what can you do from this point. I often tell them, once you have done too much or said too much, it's no going back. And that's the honest to God truth. Whatever got you guys to fall in love, to hold hands, to walk in the park, to laugh together, once they have crossed that line and too many things has happened, you will never go back to that lovey-dovey stage. If you're with a mate, whether it's a man or a woman, and you got to constantly prove yourself to show the value that you think you have, it's never going to work. It's never going to work. In another podcast, I talked about having a hoarder mindset. And if you follow me on social media, you will see that last week I cleaned the yard. I threw away a lot of stuff. I had 2 trailer loads of stuff. So that hoarder mentality, it lies in all of us. So letting go sometimes is hard. Change is sometimes hard. But you got to do what you got to do, especially when it's good for you. Like, let me tell you one thing about me. I can preach and teach to my kids all day long, 24/7. But in spite of what I tell them, in spite of how much they don't listen, do you know when those kids call me, I'm coming to their motherfucking rescue? I am. I'm going to show up because they're my kids. I am team my kids all day long. I don't care. I'm going to show up. You don't have to listen. I want you to listen because listening to me is going to help some of your process. It's going to help stop you from going through that hard time. But if you don't choose to listen, at the end of the day, I still got my kids back for sure, for sure. I don't care if I got to break the bank to do it. If I got to borrow, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to show up for mine. So one thing about my kids, they're going to always have me. But if you are somebody out there and you don't have me, somebody that's going to always have your back, my advice to you as well as my kids, trust God. You got to first trust God. And after you trust God, you got to ask God to teach you how to trust yourself. Ask God how to teach you to see what you say you are. And listen, the good girls get it the worst. Oh, the good girls get it the worst. The girls that think they so fine, the girls that think they bad, the girls like me, oh, we get it the worst. Because we see potential in people. We got this thing in our nature like we a super saver hole. We get it the worst. But at the end of the day, I don't care if you got to pick yourself up 10,000 times, brush yourself off and keep it moving. You better do just that. You don't know how many times I had to brush myself off. People don't know what's in my bank account. You don't know what's in my heart. You don't know what's in my mind. You only know what I tell you. One thing about me, I know how to keep it moving. And in these years, I've become a person where I'm going to always choose me first. And I don't care if that makes me selfish. I don't care if it makes me selfish because I have to be in position to where I'm getting what I want. If it's nothing in it for me, I'm not talking about job. I'm talking about personal. My job is to serve people. And in my personal relationship, I match energy. And people often say, oh, it's crazy you match energy. It's only crazy when you match bad energy. When you match good energy, ain't nobody got no problem with it. But when you match bad energy, everybody got a problem with it. What would Jesus do? I ain't asked Jesus. Because you normally react before you ask Jesus. You go to God later and ask for forgiveness. And I'm just being transparent because that's who I am. So all I'm saying is, I always say, find a way to fuel your fire. Find a way to motivate you. It's so many things that should have made me leave my marriage. But the one thing that I hadn't even told y'all about, was the thing that made me leave my marriage. My husband fighting me and my children didn't make me leave my marriage. Him not having his part of the bills didn't make me leave my marriage. Him calling me out of my name, he did a lot of stuff. So again, I'm not going to be one of those people on the sideline saying what you should do. But what I will say is, you'll know when you get enough. I had a friend that used to ask me all the time, because I confide in the person. And they said, Tam, when are you going to know? I said, I don't know, but I know I'll know. On December 30th, when I let that thing come out of my mouth, when it rolled off my tongue, like I had enough of this and we need a separation, I knew it was time. The more time that went on and the more shit he did, the more stuff he said, I knew it was time. I knew I made the right choice. And then on Thursday, when I rolled that seat up next to him, as he told that big old lie to those people, I knew I made the right choice. I don't have one regret. I am moving forward with my decision, whether he likes it or not. I encourage people, my children first, because they're women. Your daughter, your cousin, your niece, your nephew, your son. Quit going back and forth with people. You know that song say, I'm living my best life. I ain't going back up with you. Get that in your mind. Get that mindset. I'm not saying run out at the first drop of something bad, but when you want somebody to show up consistent, and we know things happen, because normally I drop this podcast at 12 o'clock on Friday. A couple of weeks ago, my daughter had a baby. I didn't drop it at noon because a 911 came in the picture. Well, life happened this week. I got a property under contract. I had a deal almost fall through. I had a new buyer that I had to do documents. I had a lot going on. I even assisted friends with showings. So I did not get to drop my podcast on time because I was handling my business and dealing with other people monkeys on my back. So that's not being consistent, but things happen. But my normal routine is Friday at 12. When you ask somebody to do a thing, when you communicate effectively, when you try to talk about whatever the problem is or the concern is, the thing is sometimes people don't comprehend. And if they don't comprehend, you'll never move from that point. You will never get things done if they don't comprehend. Because sometimes in people's ears, you sound like wonk, 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 wonk. And it's okay. That just lets you know you ain't on the right path. That ain't for you. And it's okay. How many times I got to do this thing over? I don't care. As long as I got breath in my body, I got another chance to do it again. And I love a new beginning. I love a new beginning. You should too. I ran across a client and they told me, they said, I'm not used to change. Change gives me anxiety. Change makes me scared. I like change, but I'm not one that's going to change my car insurance because everybody's talking about USAA and it's for military and da-da-da. Well, I've been with State Farm and I don't got no problems with them. So I'm one of those people. I've had the same life insurance policy forever. I don't care what the new wave is. So if change ain't necessary, then don't do it. But when it's necessary, when it starts to bother your mental, it's time to do it. I bumped into somebody yesterday that I gave my business card to, and they said, I'm not in position to purchase yet, but in a few months, I'm going to be in position to purchase. I'm going to have to because I got to start over. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. My marriage is over. After 20 years, I'm 56, 57, or 58. I can't quite remember. But in my mind, I just say, why do us women, why do we stay so long? Why do we put up with so much stuff? And men put up with it too. I'm not on nobody's team. I'm just saying, if you know you're putting up with stuff, if you know you're dealing with somebody that's consistent with not being consistent, they consistent with the lies. They consistent with the showing off, with the name calling, with the I'ma do better. Reevaluate the situation. My favorite saying is reset. I don't care how many times you got to do it. Just do it. But how many of us know it's so much easier to go back what you're familiar with? I'm guilty of it. Guilty. I can't tell you all my business right now because I got it going on. So I got to leave a little bit. For later. But needless to say, I'm one of those people too. When you already know it's good over here, you like, let me touch it again. Let me taste it one more time. But when it starts to affect you, if you can get the good out of it, You might give it a little bit more time. If it's a little bit more lemon juice in that lemon, make it do what it do. But if you don't squeeze all out of it you can, and it's starting to give you carpal tunnel, it's starting to hurt your fingers, it's starting to create arthritis, it might be time to move. It might be time to move. I got some beautiful girls. Beautiful girls. Beautiful girls. That don't mean their ways is beautiful. That don't mean they're easy to live with. That don't mean they always right. They got great potential. I'm sure they will match energy. I tell my kids all the time, you got genetics, you got what's modeled in front of you, but at the end of the day, what you do have is you got a God that you can go to and tell him what you want. Tell him what you need. You got to stand firm on what it is you want. When you see something you don't want, you got to stay away from it. You cannot get in the habit of thinking that you can change. I don't tell my girls one thing and then turn around and applaud them at another thing. I see people do this all the time. Sometimes I know what's going on in people, family, and they sit there and they, I'm going to clap for everything. I ain't clapping for everything. I ain't clapping for everything. If it's good, it's good. But if it's bad, it's bad. I'm going to always give them some type of comment, criticism, whether it's corrective or whether I'm going to always give them some kind of input because I want to see them win. I don't want them to have to travel my path, even though my path wasn't a bad path. I tell everybody I love love. I love right now. I'm going to love tomorrow. I love yesterday. I love love. And I'm going to keep on living. I'm not bitter. I'm not mad because I made the decision. And a lot of times when somebody else don't get to make the decision, when they don't get to pull the plug on the thing, it upsets them. It makes them angry because they wish they had one more chance to do it again. Because they had 50, 111 chances to get it right and they didn't. So I'm going to just leave you on this note. On this note. Because I got so many other things to talk about. But I'm going to leave you on this note. If you're going through a situation and you're not sure about it, go to God, pray about it, stand still and listen. And when God shows you the signs, I don't care if y'all get back together and they start looking good for 7 days. On the 9th day, if that thing reappears, that's that sign you ask God for. It can't even go good for 2 whole weeks because God just show you something else. Show you something else. I saw a post a couple weeks ago and it said something about people talking about how their friends don't show up. You want to blame your friends for not showing up. And the post say, I blame you for always calling them your friends. Hello, somebody. Hello, somebody. Because we do know real friends show up when they can, show up when they want to, show up when they need to. They show up for you. Real friends gonna do that. They ain't gonna just show up when they want to. They gonna show up. They're gonna switch some things around. And I got some real friends. Because I can call them and they know if I call them, I need it. They know that. I ain't gonna call them if I don't need it. If I need them, if I call them, they know Tan need it. Because she gonna make it do what it do. So whether it's friends, whether it's a man, I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is. All I'm saying is you gotta get sick and tired of being tired. Listen, I love you guys. It's Friday night. I'm getting ready to go and kick it with DJ Prince Ice because that's my dude. And listen, I pray that you run your next play in excellence. The email address is going to be below so you can send me some topics so we can start rocking and rolling with them letters. And I got a few topics that I'm going to lock and load for you in the weeks to come. It's been good. It's your homegirl, Tana's my realtor, and I'm checking out. I love you guys. Have a good one.